Friday levels is what you named it?
No, that was the old one. The new one's
Oh,
posted though. New one's on. Ta-ta.
the only one I see is Friday levels test.
It's the new one's on. It's active now. Let me just confirm. Try refreshing it on your end. Do you see it now? The new one.
Oh, yeah.
You see it? Okay, good. Perfect. As long as you can see it, we're good. Okay. Posting everywhere. Some data just came out, right?
Yeah. GDP 2.5 or 3.0 versus 2.5 quarter over quarter.
All right, welcome in, guys. Welcome, welcome. How is
Good morning.
everybody doing?
Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday.
Good morning. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning. It is a beautiful Wednesday morning. We have an FOMC session today. This is traditionally a holiday for traders. But Mike, we are here, and we are always here. But this is going to be an interesting session today because, as you guys know, it is an FOMC session, okay? We have a lot to go over this morning. We have a lot of prep to do. We are going to talk not only about our charts today, but Mike and I are also going to discuss a few things happening later on in the session at 2 p.m. At 2 p.m., we have one of the biggest fireworks of all the fireworks. It is the FOMC rate decision. In this meeting today, we have a 2 p.m. rate announcement, and then we also have a 2:30 conference in which Jerome Powell is going to be discussing monetary policy, right? Particularly for September, right? Because that's what everyone's looking for right now is what's going to happen in September. July matters, but September matters even more, right? And we're going to discuss that today. We'll talk a little bit about, of course, the probabilities, right? And looks like market is pricing in very, very much so the case a rate cut in September. So that's what the market is moving towards, not July at all. So very low chance of rate cut today. We'll talk about that in a minute. Mike and I are also going to talk about SPY. We'll go over SPY. We'll talk about the levels in SPY yesterday. SPY was a bit of a grind yesterday, but there were some opportunities, and we'll discuss where those opportunities were yesterday, and we'll also discuss where the opportunities lie today. We're going to go over the Q's chart, QQQ, demand below. I mean, just a lot of different demands below it. But the key thing yesterday, the key thing for me was the fact that the market lost 569 Qs, right? That was the big sort of telltale sign right now. And it's kind of, it begs the question, is this, are we putting in the top of the market? Is this the top of the market? I don't know, it's probably still early to say that, but this is the first real downside day in a while. And the question is, do we start breaking demands after this downside? And I think it's an important thing to keep in the back of our heads today is watch what the market does today post 2 p.m., right? Because everything before 2 p.m. doesn't matter, right? So there's some little opportunities here and there, some little scalps here and there, but everything post 2 p.m. is really what matters today's session. And the question is, are we going to break demand, right? Are we going to see some actual demand breaks in the market? In which case, there is some longer term movements down in the market, not just back to demand and whipsaw higher, right? So that's our sort of theme today, and we'll talk about it. We are going to go over Tesla, we'll go over Bull, we'll go over Apple. Mike's going to go over a lot of names as well. We'll go over AMD. I think Mike's watching AMD too. So we have a lot of names to go over this morning. It's a beautiful Wednesday, and I think we can dive right into it. Yeah, how many people have we? Have 700 people here, and we have, how many likes do we have here? 700 people and 158 likes. So let's get the like count up. And then we'll get started. How's the quality, guys? Can you guys hear Mike? Most
Yeah, I
important
just want
part.
to make sure there's no echo or anything like that.
Yep. Quality check, quality check. Waiting for them
Test.
to say something. Great sound. Perfect. Awesome. That's amazing. Dan, it's like my travel setup is better, Mike, than my actual home office.
It is. It's way better. I was telling you that.
It's kind of wild, right? It's kind of wild. Maybe I just have to stay here. So, all right. Today's session, obviously, the big firework, right? The main show today is going to be this right here, right? So we had GDP this morning, 8:30. Mike, what was that GDP data? Did you have it in front of you? I know you were talking about it before.
It was 3.0 versus 2.5, quarter over quarter.
3.0 versus 2.5.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so pretty big beat in GDP. In terms
And
of
the
other,
non-farms was 104K versus 77K.
okay, so that's ADP. What is that?
ADP non-farm, yeah.
ADP non-farm. Okay, so ADP non-farm and GDP coming out this morning. Well, we also have today, we have some 10 o'clock data. We have 10 o'clock data at pending home sales. And then besides that, the big thing, the focal point of today's session, right? The thing that you should all be aware of is the 2 p.m. rate announcement. We are here today, okay? We're zooming. Look how zoomed in we are right now, just to emphasize how important this 2 p.m. meeting is, okay? We are here trading today, but just keep in mind, the big move is probably not going to happen until 2 p.m. Most traders that I know, Mike, I'm sure most traders that you know as well, real traders, are they trading today or are they taking off?
Yeah, I mean, most of Wall Street is taking off today, but, 2:30 is really when the big move happens when Powell starts talking.
Exactly. So be careful until 2 p.m. Obviously, to 2 p.m., that's where all hell breaks loose. Besides that, tomorrow's session, we also have some big data. We have some PCE data tomorrow morning, some 8:30 a.m. data, and Chicago PMI, and I think we'll have some more clear controlled action in the Thursday and Friday session. In terms of earnings reports for the week ahead, obviously today's Wednesday. We have Meta, we have Microsoft, we have Robinhood reporting earnings, also QQQ reporting earnings as well. So some big earnings reporting in the after hours today's session. Pre-market tomorrow, we have CVS, we have Roblox, RBLX, we have ABBV, and then Thursday in the after hours, we have Amazon, we have Apple, we have Coinbase. I think Mike, you also mentioned there's news on Coinbase, right? There was some Coinbase news.
Yeah, strategic partnership with JP Morgan they announced this morning for cryptocurrency.
Interesting. So
They got a little pop, nothing big.
a little pop. So let's see what happens. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see what Coinbase does into the earnings report. I mean, it's probably going to be an interesting report with that. So let's talk about SPY, guys. This is all that matters today. That's why everyone's here. So Mike, I'll go over SPY first, and I'll pass it over to you.
Okay.
So on the SPY chart yesterday, it was a systematic downside, right? So you saw some early morning downside. I actually longed the market. I'll show you where I longed. I longed the market at 637.50. I longed it right here, and then I ended up selling the next candle just because you could see yesterday the appetite for longs was not there. The reason why I say that is because when you see the market rejecting off of pre-market lows like this all session and not giving you any upside, you have to realize the market's not priced. The market's not there for upside that day. Okay, market was priced for downside. Market moved lower. I ended up getting back in longs over here and made some money off longs back at demand. But the key thing to note yesterday was yesterday's session was mostly a downside day, and if you were not prepared for that, it was a bit difficult because you were just sitting there looking for demand bounces, and that was what I was doing. Right? If you guys remember from pre-market yesterday, I talked about the idea of every downside day being a pullback long demand bounce. Was that the right idea yesterday? I mean, sort of, it had some opportunity, but it was not the best idea because at the end of the day, yesterday's session was mostly downside facing, right? Mostly downside facing. There was some sort of knee-jerk reactions off demand, but the overall theme yesterday was down, right? Now, today's session, here's the issue with today's session is even though we've seen that systematic downside yesterday's session, we see it, I know it, there's a lot of red candles coming in yesterday. There was some reaction off demand. There's some demand. We went long here at the 635 and change, right? There was some long opportunities yesterday at 635, but we came right back into it pre-market, and we're still kind of bouncing off the 635 level this morning. But the question is, what's our appetite today, right? Are we going to see us sell off more today? And what would sort of confirm that? Well, for me, what confirms that is 635. If we lose 635 today, the same level I went long at yesterday. So this was the level that I was looking for longs. Yesterday was right here, right there, and right here. If we lose this level pre-market, 635, at that point, I think we fell back lower. Like that's the clear picture I have today, right? So if we are holding this level today, it still is, even though we saw some systematic downside yesterday, and there was a downside day yesterday, it's still just a pullback back to demand. That's the key thing to understand, though, is market is pulled back yesterday, but it's not bearish yet, right? We just see some selling pressure coming in. We see some market-wide selling, but the key thing to note is, did we break any demands? And the answer is kind of no. We didn't break any demands yet. Now the demand I'd want to see for more downside would be 635. If we clear 635, that's where demand really breaks, and we can look for 633.50. If 633.50 breaks, then we can look for 631.50, and that's again would be a very big demand test here. 631.50 would be a big bounce level for me today's session. So that's really what I'm watching today, guys. It's going to be, do we break 635? If we do, downside into here, downside into there. If we pull back to 631.50, I'm looking for longs off that level because, again, it's a big demand zone, but that's really what I'm seeing today's session. If the market holds 635 today, we're just going to do this, right back into highs. It's going to be a zombie grind right back into the highs of our Tuesday session, and that's going to be a pretty uneventful day prior to FOMC. So that's really what I'm seeing today, guys. Big level 635, big level supply 638, and that's what I have here on the SPY chart. Mike, I'm going to let you go over your chart here in SPY. Do you have any additional levels here? Anything I don't have?
Yeah, pretty similar. I mean, I'm pretty much watching not 635, a little bit lower. It's just based on that ES level where we bounced yesterday, that 6,400.
Right.
I think that's like 634.50 maybe, somewhere around there.
Yep.
But same idea basically. That's, if we lose that, then we should see a move back into that previous supply, like 631, 632 area. So that's a nice $2 or $3 move that we could get on downside. Besides that, it's 638 for me. For upside 638, that's SPX 6400. That's where we fell yesterday. If we reclaim that somehow today, then I think we see a nasty squeeze. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. And I do also agree with the idea of using the ES level as your key picture today, because you have 635 as a level from yesterday's session on SPY. But Mike was just saying, watch that ES 6400, and if you look at yesterday's session, where did we bounce perfectly off yesterday, right? Where did market sold off, right? So you see some systematic selling Monday, right? And then sort of gap up Tuesday morning, and then again selling again here at Tuesday session. But again, we just pulled back right into the demand from our Thursday and Friday session, right? This demand zone that Mike is talking about is 6400 ES. And for me, remember I said this a while ago, or I think this was last week, we talked about the idea that it's not just 6,400, it's kind of the whole zone between 6,400 and 6,392. But again, there is some scalpable opportunity here, right? So if the market does lose 6,400 ES, then we probably pull back to that 6,392. If we lose 6,392, then at that point, that's where things begin to really shift in the market, right? This is the shifting like gauge I have in the market. The big gauge is going to be 6,392 here, yes. The whole zone between 6,400 and the bottom of that zone 6,392, right? If we lose this level here, that's where market can really get to selling, right? Now again, on SPY's chart, that would be somewhere around yesterday's lows, right? So if you lose yesterday's lows, more downside in the market here in SPY chart. Where do we go to? We go down lower, we probably go back, we test demand here, maybe 631.50. That would be the next big level here in SPY's chart. And then also in ES, I think Mike was saying this too, but if we lose that 63.91 to 6400 ES demand, we probably go back and test, I would argue we test back into 63.53, which is our start of this big uptrend, right? So this is not to be unexpected. We shouldn't be surprised by some downside, right? I think that's something that we have to, as traders, market doesn't just move up all the time. And recently, it's kind of felt like that, right? But market needs to find liquidity back at demand below. And if you look at the market here in larger time frames, even the 1 hour time frame, you can very clearly see that we do need to see pullbacks, right? The most logical pullback is 63.53 ES, right? That's where market needs to pull back to eventually. And I think even if the market bounces early today, we see some upside today just like this, right? Well, it doesn't change the idea that eventually we have to test these demands below, right? And I think that's a key thing to note about the week ahead, okay? QQQ, Mike, do you have anything on the Qs?
Yeah. So QQQ, as you guys know, yesterday I went into the session with the bearish bias. It looked like an exhaustion gap to me, and that's exactly what it turned out to be. So I shorted high of day yesterday on Qs at that NDX 23,500, and that turned out to be a full intraday reversal. So we actually lost quite a few support levels yesterday after we failed those highs. 570, we lost that almost immediately. 569, there was almost no buyers there, which was that previous day pivot. So we're still trading below 569, and you guys can actually see pre-market we rejected a little bit off of that as well. So that's the pivot I'll be watching today for upside on the Qs, 569. And then for downside, the obvious level, super obvious, is 566. You can see that on the hourly. You can see it on NQ. You can see it on NDX. 566 is huge on the Q. So if we lose that, then I think we make a really big move down. But we'll see if it holds or not.
Yeah, absolutely agree. Mike went short Qs right here. I think it was like 571.80 or 571.90. Literally high day yesterday using that 572 level. Sold off all the way under 569. 569 was our key demand. Look at the demand yesterday on SPY. What did we say yesterday about Qs? We said the biggest level to watch for in QQQ was 569. Look how we just broke through that level like butter, right? We broke through it, breakdown, retest, downside, retest, downside, retest, downside, right? So yesterday's session on the Qs, again, like even for me, right? I went long yesterday. I longed the SPY. At multiple spots I longed yesterday. But the idea was yesterday was simply mostly just a downside day. There were some scalps yesterday for upside. There were, right? But look at the downside facing move under 569. Now today's session here on Qs, like Mike was saying, is can we hold back under 569? If we do, then more downside back into 566. If we reclaim 569, then obviously we're going back into the highs where you guys showed yesterday, which was 572. So scenario one is this, and scenario two is we just do this today, right? We sell off back into 566, and the question mark is do we break down under 566? My expectations today would be that we don't make a big move prior to FOMC, right? Why should we be making a big move prior to FOMC? So I would probably argue that scenario one and scenario two are probably just going to be unlikely. It's going to be mostly like this and mostly like this that stays in the market until after 2 p.m. Then post 2 p.m. who knows, right? It could be big upside, it could be big downside under 566, right? And that's what I would be looking for today's session here in Qs.
Yeah, I agree with that.
On the NQ chart, it's the same thing, guys. Same thing, different chart. Only thing I'm seeing here is we did have a big demand test yesterday, 2342, right? Sorry, 23,420, right? You have a major demand here testing. So this could be a level to watch out for today's session. Again, I don't like it when my NQ chart looks different from my QQ chart. It's kind of like when ES looks different from SPY. So I don't really love the fact that this looks different because I can see this is a logical long spot here at 2342. Sorry, 23,420. But then when I look at Qs, right, I just look at Qs and there's just obviously no reason to go long here, right? Because market's under 569. So let's see what Qs do. I mean, obviously I would focus more. I'll focus more so on the QQQ chart than I would the NQ chart. Again, that's just my opinion, but let's see what happens here. Obviously, I can see this is a big demand zone, right? You see 23,420, big level, but of course you want to see us back above 23,520 for more sustained upside back into the highs, which would be your equivalent of QQQ for 469, right? And then this level would be the level you guys went short yesterday was QQQ 472. Is it 472? I think it's 472. No, 572. 572. Okay, so 572. So let me fix that before you guys go crazy because I know in about a second they're gonna go absolutely crazy. 569 and then 572. Okay, so those are the big levels here in Qs. 572 and 569. That would be sort of how I would correlate NQ to QQQ. Okay. Right. Brett talks so fast. Yeah, guys, I talk fast because of this. This is
I have a lot to get through.
This is why I'm talking fast. I'm drinking like a not healthy amount of caffeine. Okay. So let's move on. Let's go over charts today. Let's start off with the first ticker. Mike, actually, you know what? I'm gonna let you pick the first ticker. What's your top
we can
watch?
just go out. I usually go alphabetical, so we can do AMD.
Okay. AMD.
AMD, guys, what I'm watching personally, I don't know if Brett's watching the same thing, but AMD has just been on a tear, an absolute tear. But yesterday we definitely found some sellers at 182 off that supply, and now it looks like we're getting an exhaustion gap down. So what I would look for on AMD today is a failure back under that daily supply at 175. If we can get back under 175, we should push into 172, 170.
Yeah. I mean, this is an overcooked turkey, right? This is the Thanksgiving turkey that's overcooked, and I think you need to see this pull back, right? Even if you are a bull. I mean, I just can't go long. I just can't go long AMD when it's like this, right? Like I was saying yesterday on pre-market too, we spoke about this idea of like this needs a pullback, right? This needs a pullback. The question is, does it actually give you a pullback? I don't know, but 175 I think is a key thing to watch today, right? 175 breaks. I would be interested to see here if there's any low volume node. I bet you it's a low volume node between 175 and that 162. If I were to run a volume profile here, you're probably going to see it too. But let's see, fixed range volume profile. You can see there is some volume here at 166, right? So it's not perfect, but I do agree. Under 175, you should see a pullback to 166 and possibly even 162. So that would be a key thing to watch today's session is, do we lose 175? If we do, downside back into our demand lows, okay? If 175 holds, I would not go short, because again, that's a key thing to watch. So look at the reason why is intraday, even though the 15-minute time frame, 1 hour time frame, daily time frame beats pullbacks, right? The issue is you have a big demand here, right? Look at Monday's highs, look at Tuesday's lows, look at pre-market low here Wednesday. 175 is your level. Don't be an idiot, right? 175 has to break. If it breaks, then downside. But if it's above 175, it's still bullish. The market can do things, right? The market can do this, right? The market can do this, right? And we can say it needs pullbacks, but it just continues to do this. Don't short it until it starts structuring and breaking that upward structure, which in my opinion would be a breakdown under 175, which Mike was saying. Okay, Tesla. Let's go over to fun ones first. Tesla. Tesla. Do you want to go over Tesla?
Tesla has that massive triangle. Have you drawn that on the daily?
No, I haven't.
Or 4 hour, 1 hour. You could see it on any time frame. It just has this massive triangle. And it's gonna break either side.
I see it. Big daily trend line there on Tesla. It is consolidating. It has been consolidating for a while, right? This is gonna make a big move.
Yeah, for me, for upside, 330 is the level would have to break.
330, exactly. I agree. That's also the break of that downward structure. 330 breaks, upside back into 328, and then where's your downward demand? I mean, my demand, to be honest, is really just that Tuesday lows. It's that 329 level, right? If we lose this Tuesday's lows, 329. 318.
318, yeah.
319. If we lose 318, right, then I think this is going back lower to 310. So for me, scenarios on Tesla are, and yesterday we spoke about this, the idea of just a pullback long back to demand, and that kind of held yesterday, right? You saw we just pulled back to demand. That's what we said yesterday, right? It was big breakout Monday session. On Tuesday, watch for these demand bounces, and market did find support there. So today's session, the idea is the same. Okay, it's if we are above 318, right, our Tuesday's lows and the breakout level from Monday's session, we're bullish. Okay, if we lose 318, then downside back into 310. If we are above 330, if we start doing this today and just grinding higher above 330, that's your big breakout trade, and upside momentum is most likely in the cards. So that's what we'll be watching today's session here on Tesla, is either under 318 or above 330. Okay, under 318, obviously 310 is your next big level. Moving on. Let me just remove all my drawings here so it doesn't look funny. Moving on, let's go over Apple chart. So Apple, interesting move, right? We said yesterday, we spoke a little bit about this yesterday, about the idea of the beautiful consolidation here. Right? They're just an insane consolidation, and my expectations were on Tuesday's session that I was going to break. I figured the chances of us breaking was like 80% on Tuesday session, and we did break, but we broke out in the direction that I did not want us to break out, right? I was looking for us to break out like this and not break down like that, right? Now, we are breaking down, okay? Now, Tesla, or Apple rather, has fully broken down under 212, and the key thing to watch out for today's session is, do we remain under 212? This chart right now is under 212 right now. And this is likely going to be the best short today's session if we are under 212. That's it. This is the level. If you see us pop into 212 today and do a little bit of this type of action, a little bit of rejection here to 212, this is your best possible short in a downside play. Okay. If we are under 212, we are bearish. If we are above 212, we're back bullish, back into the consolidation, back into the range, and we go back into 216 again. So again, the scenarios on Apple are either, hey, are we below 212 or are we above 212? And right now we are obviously bearish because we are under that level, right? Mike, anything to add there on Apple?
They have earnings on Thursday.
Earnings on Thursday. True, absolutely right. So maybe not the best idea to trade Apple today, but
I agree with your levels. I mean, 210 or 212. But yeah, I won't be trading it just because they have earnings.
I would be all over this chart. If there's no earnings, I'd be all over this chart. I'd be all over that 212 level today, but I'm not going to do
Yeah.
that because of course, because of the earnings session on Thursday. Okay, Nvidia.
Nvidia. Yeah, Nvidia also getting a little top heavy. That's another reason why I shorted the Qs yesterday. It's that 180. You guys can see the aggressive selling off that 180. Nvidia has to hold 175 at this point. If it doesn't hold 175, then I think we get a big move back into 171.
Yeah, absolutely. My major demand on Nvidia is 175. Okay, and yesterday's session, it's kind of like this, right? This is the thing is a lot of people were watching demand bounces yesterday, right? Demand bounces on Nvidia, demand bounces on SPY, and this is what you saw, right? You see demand at a key level, you see market gapping up above key level, it pulls back to key level, okay, and it does this. That was the theme of yesterday. The theme of yesterday was, hey, downside all day, right? Pull back to major demand, and then a little bit of a reaction off key demand. Now, the thing to recognize now going forward is what happens now? Do we start to reclaim levels and do this? Or do we fail back below demand and do that, right? Now, if you look at NVIDIA, it's the same chart, right? We are in this stage right now. We are in this stage right now here at NVIDIA. So the question is, do we start to reclaim 177 level, which is our Fridays or Mondays highs? And if we do, back at 180, or do we lose 175 to major demand and then we see back down into 173, 171? We are at the moment on SPY and Qs and Nvidia and AMD and Apple where it's either make the move above or make the move below. It's not just going to sit here, okay? And the key thing to note is we're doing this right before FOMC. So it's a perfect storm, okay? The move is going to happen. The move is probably going to be big today, either today or tomorrow. But we have to recognize, most importantly, where the levels are, okay? And on NVIDIA, it's bullish back above 177. It's bearish back under 175. That's it. That's all we have today here in NVIDIA, okay? SMH, did you guys see that 293 level yesterday was big? 293 maintained. It's a key level today. We have big supply here, 296. This is also a big supply, again, to watch out for. That 296 level is also, of course, that all-time high here on the SMH. So big level here, all-time highs, 296. And then demand below 293, okay? Avgo doing nothing. What else do we have on the chip side? TSM 244, big level. If you're watching for TSM, 244 has to break. If 244 can break, upside back into 246. Nothing here, nothing much here on the chip side, guys. I think the key thing to watch out for today on chips is, are we above 293 or are we below 293, right? Just look at this 293 level, and that's going to define whether we are bullish or bearish here on the chip side this morning, okay? Moving on, we're going to go over some other names. Mike, I know you're probably wanting to go over PLTR, so I'm going to let you dive into that. PLTR had some news yesterday. I'll let you go over the PLTR chart.
Yeah, we can do PLTR, Google, and Netflix. PLTR, I mean, they did get news. They've gotten news the past couple of days with the Department of Defense saying that they're testing Microsoft AI as a way to leverage against the PLTR contracts, the Palantir contracts. That doesn't really mean anything to me right now. I'm really more interested in their earnings next Monday. But as far as levels go, 155 is very obvious. You can see that on the 1 hour, 4 hour daily. If we want more downside on PLTR, it has to lose 155. If it loses 155, we can go to 153, and then below 153, I think we see capitulation down to 148.
Yes. Yep. That's basically the same levels I have on my chart is almost everything you just said, right? So 155 breaks, 153, then 144. Amazon.
Earnings.
So earnings, right? I know, but look at the chart. I mean, just again, everything, like, I love when charts look, everything just looks the same, and it's like some of these charts just like reading a book, right? Look at the market yesterday. You can define everything that happened yesterday was demand below, right? Big gap up in the market like this, pull back to demand, little upside, right? And was Tesla. That was not Apple. It was mostly Tesla, AMD, Nvidia, SPY, Qs, right? Look at Amazon, the same thing, right? big selling pressure coming in here on Amazon, right into 230. A little bit of upside off of it, but again, it's not. This is not an upside move that's instilling a lot of bullish sentiment here. This is not like a big V-shaped reversal. This is a little bit of a dead cat. The question now is, are we back under 230? If so, downside, or do we see us maintain and sort of build higher, back above 234? Then more upside comes in the market. So again, let's watch Amazon. Of course, obviously earnings, right? So maybe don't watch Amazon, but keep it on the back burner in the Thursday session, right? Thursday session, Friday session, it's going to be one of the top watches for me at least. Okay. What about Google? Mike, you have something on Google?
Yeah, Google. I mean, it was just really strong yesterday. You look at the market and you look at every other tech name, and Google was the strongest name. Even while everything was selling, Google was strong. Now, Rav may take something on this. I know he was watching this yesterday. But basically what I would say is 196. If we break 196, we should see 198, which was that post-earnings high. And then 194 is the demand that we broke yesterday. It's demand now. It was supply yesterday. So 194, if it holds that, then that could be a potential entry as well. But it just looks like a bullish structured chart. Looks good for upside.
Yeah, 194. I can see. That actually is a really nice chart. The crazy thing is, I don't trade Google. I don't think I've even traded Google this quarter at all. So maybe I'll do some Google action today. 194 looks really clean to me. I mean, this is a key level. I mean, there's a nice pent up demand here. Monday's highs, that Friday's highs, also that level from Thursday session. 194 key level. 196 breaks out, then we see 198 plus. This is a nice chart. Either 196 breakout or 194 as a demand entry here, right? That'd be a nice little early entry long. Okay, nice. What about Bull? BULL, guys. Bull. Yeah, I mean this is. Wow,
13% yesterday. What happened?
It broke 15. That was a key level. It broke 15. That was the big demand that we had yesterday, and it just once it broke it, you can see it, right? Look at the flip yesterday, right? Just look at the flip. And this is why I like trading too. Is like just if you were a bull defined by 15, right? If you were a bull defined by the 15 level, okay? Well then, what are you under 15? You're a bear, right? Look at the downside opportunity that you should have capitalized on under 15. Beautiful breaking just under 15. Downside all day under 15, right? And this is why trading is you have to be open to every side. Okay, you have to be open to flipping back into a bear side move if the market loses levels, right? And this was a key example of that, right? 15 was your massive level. We lost 15. We broke down, retested it several times, and downside came in the market. Now today's session on bull, where are we going to? In my opinion, I probably think that we're going back down into 12.0, right? If we are under 15, we go back to 12.0. That's it. That's what I have here in bull. I know it's a sad story, but that's just what to me it looks like. I just don't see anything until 12.0. Maybe there's a small level of demand here, 13.2, right? There is a demand here at 13.2. So if we lose 13.2, then we're downside back into 12.0. So that's one addition I'd make to this chart is that level I have here, 13.2. So if you are still maintaining longs, right, use 13.2 as your new level. That's going to be your key support we must hold moving forward. Because if you lose 13.2, then downside back in 12.0. That's all I have here on the BULL chart. Okay, and again, when I'm talking about this right now, do not understand that I'm talking about this in the 1 hour time frame, right? This could be back bullish in 2 weeks, right? This could be right over here, and I'm going to say this is back bullish again, upside back in highs. These ideas that I have are very short term, within a week, okay? If you are long term on bull, BULL, and you're buying shares or leaps, do not get scared by the fact that I'm saying there's a little bit of downside in this chart, okay? It's a key thing to note, the difference between short term ideas and long term ideas, okay? Guys, I think we can probably end it here. I mean, we can do Netflix quick. Want to do Netflix, Mike? I'll let you finish off with that one.
Yeah. Netflix. It's very obvious, guys. 1160. Look at the daily. Look at the 4 hour. 1160 is the level. We can either watch for a break and reclaim, or we can look for downside. It just depends how we react to that level. But 1160 is the key demand here.
Yeah. Key demand 1160. Under 1160 back into 1100.
Yeah. I mean, it could make a big move.
Big move. Well, anyway, guys, let's pop off here. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike, for hopping on. Mike has a YouTube as well. Mike, Mike has not posted on YouTube, so you gotta get Mike to post more on YouTube. Make sure you guys tag him in the chat to say, hey, Mike, post more on YouTube.
I posted recently.
I don't know. Anyway, still do it anyway. Still, even if he posts, still do it anyway, just to bother him. Guys, thank you for all joining in, and I'll see you guys for live trading in a few minutes. Have a safe and happy FOMC day.
See you guys. Take care. Be safe today.